Hi, hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
How are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, so can you tell me about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Haiwit Tek Iswan, and I'm 20 years old. Um, I'm I'm a student, and now I'm studying about aircraft maintenance engineering at Nilai University in Malaysia. Um, and also I graduated from the Mathayom Satya Susananthai University from Thailand before I come here. And when I was in high school, around grade 9, I went to exchange in England for a month. In 2015, I was staying in a town called Krul, and after that, when I was in grade 11, I was an exchange student for the AFS for the 56. I went to France for a year, and when I was there, I stayed in Paris for a year with the host family for both for England and France. Yeah,
Okay, you can just about yourself in French language. You can do it. Yeah?
sure. Yeah. So, bonjour tout le monde. Je m'appelle Pawit Kiswan. Je suis de Fantan. Je suis un étudiant échange à la France pour un an. Et quand je suis là-bas, je vis à Paris. Mais avant ça, je fais un échange aussi au Angleterre. Et je suis eu crew pour un mois. Et maintenant, je suis au Malaisie pour étudier pour l'université.
Okay. My name is Frank, and I have my friend for interview with you. This is me.
Hi.
Hi.
And Pupe.
Hello.
Hi.
And Jet.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Ping Pong.
Hi, great.
And
Hi.
what people give.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Today we're gonna be interview you about culture shock.
Right.
Do you have any new cultural experience of living or studying in France? How did you feel about this?
So when I was in France, yeah, I have encountered some of the new things, new culture for both the studying and living. For example, when I was studying, I have found something like different from Thailand. Like I have to, when I want to change the subjects, I have to walk to another room. Like in Thailand, we will stay in just one room and the lecturer will come. But in France, we have to go to another room for study. And also like some of the culture about the restriction for the phone or for the talking or things like that, like a general rule, they respect it a lot. And for the general culture, African culture is like mostly like the politics in France is very strong. Like even for teenagers like us, they find the politics something that's quite very important, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to adjust to the culture?
For me, it's not that long to adjust to the France culture because I like the European myself. It's kind of easy for me. But for most people, for the exchange student, they say like it will take for you for like around 3 months for you to adjust for the basic for the everything. But after six months, you will get used to it. You get used to everything. So around 3 months for the first time and for the second time, right?
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you would recommend when you visit that country?
When you visit France, for me, because I stayed in Paris, so I will recommend you to be careful with the pickpocketers. Um, because Paris is like quite a tourist attraction town. Um, there's a lot of tourists, and there's also a lot of thieves and pickpocketers. So I would recommend for you to be very careful when you visit some places if you have a chance to visit Paris. But like especially the place called the Sacré-Cœur is in the north of the Paris. They that place like it has a lot of thieves like compared to like the Notre Dame or the 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 Eiffel Tower or the Versailles, something like that. So on the Musée du Louvre, yeah. So you should be careful. But for the food and for the tour feeling, that's not a problem at all.
Okay. Can I ask about when I travel in Paris? When I go out, I should bring back a bag with me, or I should a bag inside a bag in front of me. Is
I would recommend you to bring the bag in front because, as I say, even though there's some few like places, there's a lot of these that you have to be careful all the time, especially when you take a transportation like a metro or bus, because some of the line it connects a lot of the like tour places. Like from just one line, you can just visit like a Notre Dame or Louvre or something like that. So most of the things that we know. And I have encountered one time when I was in metro with my friend. I have a bag, but I put it in my bag, and there was a wallet in it, and it got stolen, and we never get it back. So should be very careful. Never put it behind you, put it in front.
Okay, thank you.
Before you leave, I know you experienced culture shock. Do you have any information about shock culture?
So for the information, I think that because I'm a student exchange student myself, so most of us we got trained or we know how to encounter with something like this. So before we leave, so I would recommend for you to be prepared for yourself, what you will find, what you will see, and because you cannot escape something like this, you have to face it. So you have to learn to adapt, and you have to learn just to adapt. You cannot like ignore it. You have to adapt. As soon as you adapt, as soon as you get used to it, it will be easier for you to live there because it's the culture. Like I recommend you to prepare yourself. Like prepare yourself before you leave, before you go to another country, before you go to live in another country. So that way you get like some idea of what they like, and it will be easier for you to adapt to that place.
Okay. I want to know, have you ever feel like homesick when you stay in France?
Yeah, I have.
You feel miss Thai food?
No, not Thai food. I miss my home actually because I stay in Paris and I can just go to Thai restaurant or something like that, or maybe I can cook myself. But most of the time I miss my home a lot. Yeah, but there's nothing I can do because I cannot come back. I cannot go back.
In France, have a Thai town?
Thai town? Oh, no. Actually, I have a Chinese, like a Chinese district. Yeah, in Paris. It's in the 13, I think. 13, 14. It's like in the southeast of Paris.
can you ask why some Thai restaurant in Paris when I
Oh,
travel
sure.
in future?
That's one. Is called Eat Thai. Is the restaurant is next, like close to the shopping center called Leal. So you can just go there. I went there a lot. I've been there a lot. And also there's another one near the Champs-Élysées, near the Arc de Triomphe. Is my auntie's restaurant. So you just walk. If it takes a few times, it will take a few times to go there. Just quite far. I can't remember the name though.
Okay, I want to know the last one. French people, they like to smoke everywhere, like?
Oh yeah. I mean, it depends on people, but yeah, they smoke like a lot. Like for example, in my school, they could just smoke like in the school, but not outside the school. They can smoke, and I see a lot of people smoke. Also, my host family they smoke a lot too. But yeah, they do smoke a lot. It's not something that's strange. It's something that's normal.
Thank you.
The last question, can you explain about learning in France?
Learning in France.
Yes.
Sure. When I was in France, I was in a high school. So the school system in France is kind of like in Thailand. For example, because when I was there, I was in like grade 11. You know, in Thailand, we have a high school for the Mathayom Ton and Mathayom Plai, right? In France, they have something that's quite similar. So they have the school that I went is for the Mathayom Plai, and they only teach for the grade 10 to grade 12. So it's like in French, it's like secondaire, première, and terminale. So only three years, and they have separate categories, kind of like in Thailand. Like in Thailand, they have a science room, a room for a science, another room for mathematics, and room for the lecturer for language. In French, they have like quite the same. For the science, they have a class for it, and for the lecturer, they have a class for it, and for the mathematics, they have another class for it. So it's kind of like in Thailand. Then after you finish the terminal, you can go to university in France. And I've heard that for studying in a university in France, you don't have to pay. Like the government, they will pay for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for coming in the interview.
Thank you for having me here.